Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get on today's video session. Here we go. After this. This is Capcom vs. NK2EO on the Nintendo GameCube. The best Capcom vs. NK games you can ever play. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So welcome back on my video session today. Today we're going to be talking about Fujitsu technology. Now, Fujitsu has made quite a lot of different systems. We are talking about a way of prospect of gaming here. Yeah, and I was looking into all these systems they produce every time. Because every time games consoles tend to die every 5 years. And I don't think that's a really wise idea, really, to keep on buying these kind of systems. Because what's happening, I've noticed that even when Nintendo's making their systems, they do put special features in them, but it tends to, every time when they're releasing them, they're losing games every time on there. I think when we had the Nintendo GameCube, that's where there were quite a lot of majority of games. We are going to talk about Fujitsu later, but first of all, we need to cover this very clearly. Yeah. Now, the most majority of gaming is on Nintendo GameCube, yeah? If I name you some few games, right? Stuff like Mario Strikers Charged, uh, Kirby, Paper Mario, Wario World. Now, when we look at these titles specifically, they're getting worse day by day. Have you noticed that? They're getting worse day by day. Basically, them games ain't terrible, but they're not progressing much from the Nintendo GameCube versions. They either just look the same or they're just updating just the graphics in them. But the important thing is the gameplay in them. It seems to me the gameplay doesn't really improve much in these games, to be honest. That's what I've seen in them. Back in that time when Nintendo GameCube, it was a really important system. But still, a lot of people tend to buy the game. Do you know why? Because it owns some of the best games in specific genres. When we look at Nintendo game exclusives, especially, it's done really, really good for that. Yeah. Now let's go back onto Fujitsu. Now Fujitsu's got devices like these. This is the Fujitsu Arrows U. But the problem with this device is only got a Snapdragon, I think it's 410, something like that. It's one of the 400 series in there. That Snapdragon is not that powerful. But I'm very surprised the way they made this hardware in this smartphone. It's pretty fast. It's really, really good. It's performing really, really well. I mean, most majority like Android and emulators in this run pretty well. You can't run very high-end emulators on this thing, but what I've seen in this device, specifically for gaming, because these kind of phones, when people just to release them, they weren't tend to made for gaming. They were made for uh, features and a lot of different things that you can do with this thing. Because these phones, right, their screens are really strong, right? Their backs are solid. Because when you chuck them, they don't break so easily. These were made for workers. These kind of devices. This is a very special device. What they made. It's very, very special indeed. And I've noticed that these are really, really good. Yeah. On top of that, because we're talking about gaming in here, the gaming in this phone is pretty good, I would say. I think it's quite good. It's really good. It depends what you're looking for. It runs quite a lot of Android games. Pretty good performances. It runs them really well. Because usually when you get 400 series Snapdragon smartphones, they're rubbish. Trust me, they're rubbish. But this one is pretty good. It's pretty good. I was talking about GameCube. Can you run GameCube on this? You can, but most majority games will be slow and they'll have stuttering sounds in it. So it's not great to run GameCube on this thing, really. Okay? I mean, we've got other devices that released was in terms of like tablet devices they released. Fujitsu Stylistic Q704, Q7010, Q Q7310, Q7311. Now the Q704 uses an Intel HD 44 graphics in there. And Q7310 uses Intel something, Intel 620, yeah. And the Q7311 is by far the best one and the most advanced. It uses the Intel Xe graphics in there. It's really, really impressive, that one is. Now, the way I'm looking at it, now these three machines like Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, they're struggling the games they're releasing on them. We've heard lots of stories on PlayStation 5 where its hardware isn't great for the games we are playing on them. I mean, the most majority of games they're making, they come out and they just flop on them. And some of them got bad performances. Some of them online modes in there don't even work properly. Yeah, it's dreadful system. I don't know why people keep on talking about it. It's just stupid. The damn thing is. Then you got the Xbox Series X. No one even likes that thing. Why is Microsoft always talking about that thing? Why does he even care? Is the company stupid or something? They're wasting a lot of money on making that thing. Then you got this Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch was one of the cheap system where it was easy to develop games for. Very, very easy to develop. And the developers found it pretty easy to develop games on there. But there was a time where when developers, their games were advanced and they wouldn't do so well on there. They used to struggle. So what Nintendo did, he updated the system and to make it more better performer. And with that, he actually helped it. Yeah, it improved with that. Because Nintendo Switch is the only system that is releasing like good games, I have to say, from the three. But how does it fare to the Nintendo GameCube when it comes to gaming? It's not very good. It's better than PS5 and Xbox Series X. I would do have to say that. It is much better than them. But when we look at the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo game exclusives on that system, they're much better than Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch doesn't have that many games that it can hold up against it. So what Nintendo company is doing now, they're releasing some Nintendo GameCube games on there. Because alone, the Nintendo Switch games aren't enough. So they add in GameCube games on top of that. So that's that part of it. I don't think it's that good idea having one of these systems really. Because all of these three machines, they're focusing on latest games. But the latest games are just terrible. They're not getting anywhere. And lots of people are getting bored of them. Now that's why where Fujitsu comes in. Like I was talking about this one. Fujitsu Stylistic is one of them tablets which are 3-in-1 or 4-in-1, yeah? Like the Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311 is 4-in-1. It's a tablet, laptop, desktop PC, and gaming. Is an extraordinary piece of hardware. You can use it portably or you can use it on big screens. Right, when we look at in terms of in tablet mode, yeah? In tablet mode, we can use it like gyroscope, yeah, and stuff like that. Or we can use it like a touchscreen based system. We can do stuff like that with it. Or we can have the stand behind it and use it like a tabletop. That's the portability side of things of that system. But the other thing is when we use a keyboard, it makes it look like it's a professional laptop. And when it's a professional laptop, then we can use the keyboard to play the games on it, which are stuff like first-person shooter games. That's what it is, and racing games, isn't it? And you can do stuff like that. But with the port replicators, we can turn this thing into a desktop PC that you can connect large mouse and keyboards and monitors. You can play them on like monitors. Really, really good. And even if you want to expand it more, you can connect it to our television. It gives you a full games console experience. Now with PCs, especially, PCs been there for a very long time. You can play games more than 20 years on these systems if they're still compatible with Windows 10, yeah? One thing I like about Fujitsu technology, they are very advanced technology, yeah? They're made for casual, home, office, business. And top of that, gaming. Of course, every Fujitsu tablet we've seen is using Wacom technology in there. Yeah, if you're a graphic designer, then you can use the Wacom technology and use the stylus pen and do some drawing on it. Yeah, you could do all sorts of stuff like that. And Fujitsu also has mini PCs. But the thing about loads of mini PCs, they're lacking drives. They're lacking drives, you know. They don't have drives anymore. And when you look at back of the system, they have lack of ports. But you know, with the Fujitsu mini PCs, right, you will get a drive. But what kind of drive do you get? Most majority of times, you'll get a DVD rewriter drive in there. And there's another option where you have to read the descriptions. If you can put a Blu-ray rewriter in there, it's a drive. You could put a drive in there. I could see one thing, because large majority of people will not use VGA ports, but Fujitsu gives you VGA ports as well. Because if you still got a VGA monitor, you can use it, because Fujitsu gives you a lot. It's a very good company. Now, Fujitsu tablets 4-in-1 and Fujitsu mini PCs, they will give you Intel Xe graphics in there. Yeah, they'll give you that. Because Intel Xe graphics is very good for gaming. I don't really consider buying a video card. I mean, if you got Intel Xe graphics, you're good to go. Most majority times you can play 720p and 1080p HD games on there, on screen. But on the TVR experience, you should be able to use 4K Ultra HD on there as well for gaming. You should be able to do that. Not many games will be supported for 4K Ultra HD on this system, but it will work. Yeah, it will work. 100% it will work. It's a huge database of gaming using the PC Steam, where you can play loads of PC games. Is Intel Xe graphics really awesome for emulators? Shall I tell you something? After this. This is a high Omar. He's in this stage. He's got like a windmill at the back. Cosa. Oh, style. Okay, so is the emulation good on that? It's absolutely awesome on the Intel Xe graphics. Trust me, you do not need any video card. Because I have heard that Intel Xe graphics is even good for, it's comparable to video cards as well. It's quite comparable. I think most majority of people who buy really high-end NVIDIA video cards, that's only for 4K Ultra HD. Otherwise, you don't need them, to be honest. Because the way Intel made the Xe graphics, he's giving you a 1080p HD technology. Okay? But still, there is some games out there you can use 4K Ultra HD. Trust me, it's very, very powerful indeed. Now, when I was talking about Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311 device, this thing is a killer. It's very powerful indeed. It's very, 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 very powerful. When you buy this thing, you will get tablet, professional laptop, desktop PC computer out of it. Gaming is really awesome. This system is. If anybody's looking for a really ultimate PC to play your PC games and emulators, this is the one to get. Trust me. I'm not sure, but most majority of these Fujitsu Stylistic systems are made in Japan. But when Fujitsu makes his PCs in Japan, that's where the real technology is. If Fujitsu starts making systems which is not made in Japan, then I don't think it's at that level really. So Fujitsu needs to carry on to making their PCs in their home country, which is Japan, of course. Because I know Fujitsu Stylistic Q704 was made in Japan, and Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311 that was made in Japan. So I'm sure that the Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311 must also be made in Japan as well. Because it's one of the greatest PC systems you'll ever buy. For each thing it's doing, it does in an ultimate way. When you buy the tablet, you get high performance Windows 10 PC programs. You get a Wacom technology out of it. Okay? And with the laptop, you will get a professional laptop out of it. Using the keyboard. The keyboard on this device is very impressive. The keyboard is very impressive. I think I have never seen such a high performance keyboard on a laptop. It is that good. And they've made quite few port replicators to turn this thing into a PC. One is the normal one, which you find at Q704. One is the Thunderbolt one. Oh my goodness. The Thunderbolt port replicator is absolutely ultimate port replicator to get yourself this turned into a PC. So in terms of gaming, so what kind of things did they put for gaming? Yeah. Now, when we talk about gaming, we need quite good specs. Now let's look at one of the specs of this system, how it will be running games on this system. It's got Intel i7 core. The Intel i7 core is one of the highest level i7 core in this. Yeah. So the CPU is the highest level one, Intel i7 core. RAM, think it's the minimum one is 8 GB. It takes you up to 16 GB. Wow, 16 GB of RAM, man. Just like a desktop computer, man. The RAM that Fujitsu used in this is a very fast one. It's really fast. Okay. GPU is the Intel Xe graphics. It's the highest level one they used in this one. So this will give you very high performance graphics. It's really impressive. Okay. Storage. For storage, they're not using hard drives. They're using SSD in this. The minimum one you'll get in this is 128 GB. The other ones I've seen is 256 GB, I think, and one is 512 GB. There might be 1 TB as well. There might be. Now the SSD in this system is very A very good one. Everything in this system is like Fujitsu 5, yeah? Okay, let's see what kind of stuff is made by Fujitsu in this in terms of hardware. Screen is Fujitsu. Stylus pen is Fujitsu. Okay, I need to get this right, yeah? RAM is Fujitsu. SSD is Fujitsu. Yeah. Obviously, there's no drive in this system. You have to use the external drives for this system, yeah? I mean, if you can find a Fujitsu one, which would be a good one, if you can't, you can buy a good Japanese one. Okay? There's quite few ones. I'm sure there's quite few Fujitsu ones. You're able to find some. You need to buy a USB one. Alright, they need to be USB. They need to be USB drive to connect to this system if you want to use disks in this system. Okay? Because basically this system is diskless. There's no drive in it. If you want to use a drive, you have to use an external one. It's a crazy system. Now, is this system good for ports? When we look at the actual tablet system on its own, it's got loads of ports. And the port replicator is packed with ports. It's got every single port from old to new ones. It's got every single one. It's incredible. Now this thing is very good. Because in terms of gaming, we can use Steam. Yeah. And we do not need to worry keep on buying new games consoles. Because the Sony PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X, they're dreadful machines, man. They keep on releasing just awful games on them. And that's why they're not doing so well. They're just dreadful. You could buy a Nintendo Switch, it's entirely up to you. But the Nintendo Switch is not good as Nintendo GameCube, you know. Okay? I would highly consider buying a Panasonic Q games console. Yeah? It's really called a Panasonic DVD/game player. That's what the actual system's name is, really. Panasonic Q games console is just some kind of a name that is just used, really. You got two systems that you can buy here, yeah? Now, if Nintendo GameCube is the best gaming system, then you should go for the Panasonic Q games console, because also you're gonna get one of the best Nintendo game exclusives on the Nintendo GameCube, of course, because Panasonic is there's a Nintendo GameCube in there. And from Panasonic, there's loads of features that Panasonic put in this system. He's done really good in this. For DVD and CD technology, there's loads of formats this system really plays. Because it is quite frustrating. The PS5 Xbox Series X doesn't have hardly any good games. Nintendo Switch might be better than the PS5 and Xbox Series X, but apparently the Nintendo Switch is not good as Nintendo GameCube, and that makes the Panasonic DVD/game player the best games console. Okay, because in here you got two companies, you got Panasonic, you got Nintendo in this, and both sides of this from Panasonic and Nintendo are the best. And it's one of the most amazing gaming system you can ever buy for your money. And on the other side, you got Fujitsu, which he's given you a lot of. He's got smartphones like Fujitsu Aros 5G, which can run high-end emulators. Of course, it runs Android games anyway. If you want to run high-end emulators, it will do that. If you want to do that, also they've got the 4-in-1 devices I told you: tablet, laptop, desktop PC, gaming. You could buy one of them. You could buy a mini PC. They also got desktop PCs as well. Yeah, you could buy stuff like that. But I don't recommend them because they're too big and all that. Because we are looking at a pretty small system. But I think one of the best systems to own, but if you're looking for really good performance, yeah, I would go for the Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311. They are one of the best PC systems you can own. Now, Panasonic DVD / Game Boy, Panasonic DVD / Game Player and Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311 device. These are the best devices for gaming. So you could buy any one of these. Both of them are quite expensive though, yeah. They cost a lot of money though. I mean, if you got a lot of cash, then consider one of these devices. If you are looking for a really good games console, go for the Panasonic Q games console. Trust me, it's really good. It's really attractive. There's loads of features to it, and you got Nintendo GameCube in there. Of course, Nintendo GameCube is the best or the most amazing games console ever developed. It owns one of the best Nintendo game exclusives. Trust me on that. You can't beat the thing, man. Panasonic Q games console and Fujitsu Stylistic Q7311. These are the ones for the best for your gaming needs. I would consider them anyway. So think about that if you want something really unique. And both of these things are really good. They're small, aren't they? They're small, unique. I mean, if you're looking for something really portable that can fit in your pocket, then go for the Fujitsu Aros 5G smartphone. A very powerful gaming phone that Fujitsu highly recommended for that kind of experience. Uh, Fujitsu started with Q7311, a high performance ultimate system, 4-in-1 for basically everything. You can buy that. And if you're looking for one of the most amazing games console, get a Panasonic Q games console. So there you have it. I hope you like my video session today. It's giving you depth knowledge about both both systems, Panasonic Q games console and Fujitsu Q7311. So there you have it. Give your likes, comments, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.